Hey, what's going on everybody? Alex with you here again. Thanks for dropping by for yet another chess video. It's always great to see you guys. I've got another chessboard today to show you guys briefly. It is the Chessman Elite from Lexibook. It's an electronic chessboard. I purchased mine on Amazon, $59.99, so a relatively inexpensive electronic chessboard that allows you to play either two players, meaning I'm playing somebody across the board using this chessboard, or you can play it against the computer, which is the primary strength of this chessboard. It does have LED lights embedded into the chessboard, but unlike some of the other electronic chessboards we've seen, where the LED lights are located within individual squares, you only get 16 LED lights, kind of similar to some of the more retro boards, and they're located vertically and horizontally across the board, as we will see here shortly. 64 difficulty levels with the top ELO of 1800. You have various other levels, such as, for example, hint move, training mode, with takebacks all the way to the very beginning of the game, which is really nice for somebody that's using this board to maybe review the games. The board is battery powered. So if you're one of those people that may have stumbled upon this board, say for example, online somewhere, and you're looking at this board as a possible gift idea or maybe a board for yourself, and you found that this video somehow has made things easier for you as far as your decision-making process, please be sure to stop the video and hit the like button. Not a lot of people are liking my videos these days. I don't know why, so it really does help. Thanks a lot. Let's go ahead and get started. On the back side of this chessboard here, we see the compartment for the batteries. It does take 3 AA batteries here. There is also a reset hole right over here in case your board glitches for some reason or freezes. There is an area for a speaker, which as soon as I put the batteries in, it made some beeping noises. The model here is the CG1300 Lexibook. So I will shoot you guys a link below where you can see where I purchased this board. I bought mine from Amazon, but there will be other different models. So if you're interested in some of the other models, maybe take a look at those. We have the board right over here, and let's go ahead and set up our chess pieces. The entire chess set with the pieces and the batteries actually weighs at about 719 grams. The pieces unfortunately are not magnetized. The one thing that I noticed pretty much immediately is that the pieces themselves are incredibly light. In fact, the rook and the largest piece on the board, which would be in this case a king or a queen, only measures at 2 grams, and the pawns are not even picking up on my weight scale. Probably needs a little bit of a more accurate weight scale, but I'm assuming it's somewhere in the range of 1 gram, which it's okay, I guess, for the chessboard that we have here, but it feels like when you're trying to pick up a piece, they're so light and it makes the game a little bit more fragile, a little bit harder to maneuver the pieces. I do like to have a little bit more weight to my pieces. On the underside of each piece, we have this sort of a semi-thick, not really felt, more kind of like this white foamy material. And the way that you move your pieces on this board is that you do depress the individual squares. So that way the board knows, because there is no sensors inside of these pieces. And the way that it will work is we'll go ahead and just start off the default. So it's currently supposed to be on. You can turn it off here. When you do turn it on, you have a little LED light that lights up right over here. And then you click this new game, which makes this sound. And let's go ahead and we'll just, so you press the piece, you take the piece, you press the square, and then you press the other square. And then now it shows us that it's going to, the LED light shows us E7, so that's the piece we're going to pick up. And then we're going to press it, and now it shows us that it wants us to move to E5. So relatively straightforward. Shows me that it's my turn now. Let me briefly talk to you guys about the 64 different difficulty levels. On the box, it did say 64, which is a huge number. But the way that it's broken down is actually like this. There's 4 different playing styles. There's the normal playing style, the defensive, aggressive, and the risk-taking style. On top of that, there's 14 different difficulty levels. Starting from between levels 1 to 5 is considered beginner difficulty level. In level number 1, the engine makes a lot of mistakes throughout the game, including mistakes where it will put its own pieces in front of your pawns just for the taking. As you progress from level 1 to level 5, the blunders become less and less obvious, and eventually at level 5, the only thing that it will do in order to help you play your game better is it will be more hesitant to give you checkmates, but will be a little bit stronger. So if you're getting this chessboard for a child or somebody that's just getting into chess, playing levels 1 through 5 may kind of get them acquainted with the game a little bit better. Now, by default, this particular board starts at level 6, which is the normal level. The ELO equivalent of level 6, based on what I've read, is about ELO of 1000 to 1100. The first 5 levels actually do not use any time for the engine to think about its moves. As you start to progress and get into level 6, that's when it tells you that it will use approximately on average 5 seconds to make a move. Now, if the move, for example, that you're making the initial moves of the opening and that those moves are already within the database, it will not take as much time. If, for example, the game is sort of drawing to an end and there's not as much calculation that needs to be done, it's also not going to take as much time. However, based on this instruction manual, these times are average. So even though at level 6 it says it will take approximately 5 seconds, it may take longer. As you progress further through the different levels and increase the difficulty of the engine, it will take longer and longer to think about the move. The funny thing is, based on what I've read here, check this out. Level 6, average 5 seconds. Level 7 is at 10 seconds. 8 is at 30 seconds. 9 is at 1 minute. 10 is at 3 minutes. And then we're moving into 11 at 10 minutes on average, 12 at 30 minutes. Level 13 is at 2 hours. And then final level, which is level 14, for what they say, this is more of an analysis type of thing, where it analyzes your position, 24 hours. 24 hours to think about one move. That's wild. So based on these numbers, if you wanted to have like a practical game where you want to sit down and play your game in one sitting, personally I'd say the average of maybe a minute per move would be where I would cut it off. So, and that would be approximately level 9. At level 6, the ELO is going to be approximately 1000. At level 7, it's going to be about 1100. At level 8, it's going to be about 1200. At level 9, which is about 30 seconds per move, it's going to be at a 1350. At level 10, which is 1 minute per move, it's going to be at about 1450. In reality, the most ELO you're going to get practically out of this is probably somewhere between 1300 to 1400 for a reasonable game. As far as take back goes, when you're playing the game, the way that it works is that you start your game off like you normally would. You press the square and then you press it, and then it'll show you which way it's going to go. But then if you want to take back, there's a take back button right over here. So what you're going to do is, first you're going to depress them, then you're going to do additional take back again. You press it again, then you got to press and press. Now you can make your other move. So now we can do, for example, this move. And then there we go. So that's how take back works. The way that it works is when you initially turn the board on, there's a button right over here. It says level. You press that button and it says that it's starting you off at level 6. Let's say that you're getting this board for a child that's not very familiar with the game. You can always switch it up and say that we're going to go ahead and want to do level 1, beginner, for normal. So we can just click on that, and then you click on level again, and you can start the game by pressing new game at this point. If we go back to level, it shows us that the level that we selected is still there. If we turn the board on and turn it back on, we can see that it's still at that level. Alrighty, in the beginning of the game, by default, you start off as white, generally. If you wish to start off as black, you have to click this move button, and then you click that and you confirm, then the opponent will start off as white. So now you can play your game from the dark side. Personally, I do find the little buzzing to be a little bit annoying, so you can always click the sound color button one time. And now you should be able to, there we go, continue without the sounds, which I would say it's a little bit easier. The other button we haven't covered yet is this hint button. If you are not sure where to go past this point, then you can always, so we'll make the opponent's move here, and then we'll go here. But now, for example, I'm in the position where I'm not sure which piece to move or where to go. So you could always hit this hint button. And when you click the hint button, then in this case, what you do is you hit, and then it says, well, it would recommend putting the knight here. I haven't clicked it yet. At that point, you can choose to either continue moving this way. You can choose to take this piece and put it somewhere else, like here, for example. Or you can choose to do something else instead altogether. For example, I can just go this way. So the hint option is definitely going to be helpful to somebody who may be just starting out or is just in a little bit of a difficult position and might want to have a little bit of help. That's pretty much the extent of all I want to show you with regards to this board today. What do you guys think? Do you think this is a nice board? Who do you think this board is for? Leave me in the comments below if you already have this board, if you tried this board out, or if maybe you've had a board with similar personality, similar characteristics. My personal opinion is I think that this might be a nice board. Definitely, it's priced well for $59, for $60, I guess. It's relatively inexpensive, and it still allows you to be able to play a game of chess, although the pieces could have been a little bit heavier. Maneuvering the pieces that are a little bit heavier is a little bit easier. I would say maybe if we could hope to get at least 10 grams in every piece and put a little bit of weight inside of them. I'm not even talking about maybe, you know, including individual sensors. That would have been nice, or at least put some magnets in there. So that way, when you pick up a piece, like for example in the Square Off Pro board, that was one of my first electronic boards, they just had little magnets inside. So yes, like you could replace a rook with a queen or something, and it still would think it's a rook, but it still allowed for basically not having to press every square, and it made the experience a little bit closer to what you would feel with like a regular chess game. As always, thank you for stopping by, and be sure to hit that like and leave me some comments below. I'll see you guys in the next video, okay? Bye-bye.